Hello, this is West, and welcome to the How to Get the Most Out of vWorker tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to share with you tips and strategies to find highly skilled, cost-effective virtual staff for your business. And I'm going to share with you some little key things that I do that make a difference in getting those bids. Once you've posted your project will show up in your interface as something that looks like this. Now, I've done a fair few projects in the past, and these are some of my really old ones, and this is what it looks like when you posted a few. Now, we're just going to focus on one for the purposes of this tutorial. So let's say, for example, the graphics one that I've just posted up. Now, that was a fake one, so we can't use that one. But this one here, if we click on it, and I've already got a window open, this is what happens when bids start to come in. So bids will start flowing in from all over the world, all different types of coders, varying skill levels and varying backgrounds. And it'll tend to look like this, coming in one after the other. Now, your job is to make sure that you choose the best person for the job for the best price. Now, I definitely don't recommend choosing the lowest bid because you tend to get what you pay for. But there are ways to maximize your chance of getting a good worker. So here's a few little tips that I tend to do. The first thing is, in your bid request, you want to type in the words at the start, "This is an easy project for a worker who knows what they're doing." Now, studies have shown that little sentence on its own tends to get no-nonsense bids, and people will tend to bid without, trying to rip you off or trying to mess around and basically waste your time. The other thing I like to do is make sure that they put in a secret code word when they reply. The reason I do that is because when I first posted a few projects, I tended to get a lot of auto bids, and that is basically people who bid on a large, massive scale, and they play a numbers game and they're not really relevant to your project. They may not even have the skills related to your project, but they bid anyway, and they'll put out the fire later on if they get selected. So in order to make sure that they've actually read my bid request, I require them to put in a secret code when they reply. If they don't do that, I automatically disregard their particular bid. Now, the next tip I'll show you is how to evaluate a potential worker. So in this case, let's say, for example, this is a bid request. Now, this project is long gone and long finished, and you'll see slightly different things here. However, it'll look very similar. Now, if I'm looking at working with this person, the first thing I'll do is click on their name, and it'll come up with a little blurb about them, where they're from, and their history. Now, one of the things I like to do is look at their past ratings. Okay, now this person only has one rating, but usually you'll get workers who have had multiple ratings. Now, once you click on the rating button, it'll show that person's work history and a summary of all the ratings that they've got in the past. Now, as I said before, this particular worker only has one rating, but it was a good one. They got a 10, and the comments were very positive as well. So they worked for me actually and did a great job, so I decided to give them a good rating. For important projects or bigger projects, I'd strongly recommend using workers that have had a few ratings, at least 5 to 10, and I'd strongly recommend either contacting those people and finding out if they actually did a good job. So you might wish to get some referees from that person and finding out, from the source whether they're a hard worker and whether they've got the skills that they claim to have. It will save you a lot of heartache in the future if you take a few small steps to prevent any problems happening in the future. Now, the third tip I'd like to give is get them to jump through a few hoops, and when you initially receive a bid from a person, it opens up a message board and you're able to type messages to them. So I tend to get them to do little things, like get them to report back to me on exactly what they're going to do, or get them to give me a bit of an outline on their proposed plan or strategy for the project. And I'll get them to just do little things for me to jump through a few hoops. And there's a few things I'll check. First thing I'll check is the promptness. How often do they respond to my messages? If they're really keen for some work and they really want to work with you, they're going to reply pretty quickly, usually within a few hours, if they're the kind of people who hangs out online all the time. And that's the kind of people you want to work for. You don't want to work with people who go away for 3, 4, 5, 6 days and don't attend to their messages. So have a look at the response of reply. The second thing is have a look at the kind of detail that they reply with. So if you get them to check out a web page, or you get them to check out one of your sites to potentially research in order to give a proposal, have a look at the kind of feedback they provide. A lot of the workers will actually give you some pretty specific and detailed feedback and a plan of action. And some will even give you a sample and even a sort of a taster of what they could do for you. And those are the people you want to move towards, because they're a known quantity and they're serious for work. They're not kind of just bidding and hoping that you'll actually accept them. So that's the other tip I'll give you. So in summary, ways to get the most out of vWorker. Here's a few tips and strategies that I use. 1. Use the magic opening and the secret code technique. Magic opening. This is an easy project for a coder who knows what they're doing. And the secret code, whatever it is, any combination of numbers or words that they must reply with in order for you to consider their bid request. Second, do your due diligence on the worker. Click on their feedback, read their feedback, have a look at some of the projects they've done in the past, contact some of the workers they may have worked for, and find out exactly how they did with those people. And make them jump through small hoops in the message board, or give them a really small project first and make sure that they do it properly and they do it promptly and they do it comprehensively before you give them bigger projects. I hope this has been helpful for you, and good luck in your projects.